Hey guys, welcome back to Alchemy Stars. So in today's video, we're going to go through my team that I use for all of progression. I've got a strange team utilizing 3 stars and a rainbow team of all things as well in a world where everyone says mono is the only way to play the game. So I'm not saying my team is the best. It's just what I used. I still think there's a lot to be discovered about the game, so I'm trying not to just fall into the you have to play mono type, water armies. So this is what I use. Now, I feel like the team core of this is fairly solid. I obviously had my 2 6-stars in there in Michael and Iridan, who synergize really well. But I feel like if you had a 5 or 6-star converter and damage dealer of the same element, I feel like it would work perfectly well. I think they could do it. And this is where people definitely fall into the mono water team, because if I had no other choices, I'd probably just use Vice and what's her name? Miss Blank. It basically do the same purpose. Obviously my 6 stars are going to do a bit more damage. They're a bit more functional. Iridan's like amazing for converting with selection and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like if you had something like the 5-star, for instance, I could quite easily swap this up. Not anymore because it's Seleucid, but I could probably swap up and use Sharon. This unit who I just pulled and forced because he's the converter, and then we've got the movement, the damage dealer. Like, I could use something like that. It wouldn't be as efficient. We'll talk about that in a sec. What I want to go through first is my 3 core members of Seleucid, Uriah and Peppy. So Seleucid, and before we go further, I can't remember, in my summon video I had it, but I didn't have either of these guys at Ascension 2 when I actually did the final boss of chapter 7. So, and Iridan was level 1 as well, I think, or level 14 or something like that back then. So we didn't have as many upgrades as we do now. But Seleucid I found amazing, keeping in mind that these guys get capped at level 50, the 3 stars. The others can go up to level 80. So stats are going to fall off a long way on the 3 stars eventually. But this dude, basically, with his ascensions and his breakthroughs, it ends up giving him a 0-round cooldown on his active skill, which converts red tiles away. So that's where I said if you awaken him to, it's the awakening 2 that gives him the conversion here. So if you're using red units and you want to use this guy, don't get him to conversion 2. But yeah, pretty solid. Then he's got a 2-chain on this, which I just like the 2 chains, and he's also got a passive where he can increase the damage of that 2-chain, which can make it actually do some nice damage. Like I said, as a damage dealer, he'll fall off, but the utility of a 0-round cooldown on this ability was just fantastic, and I just really enjoyed him as a core member of my team. Next up, we have Uriah. Now, Uriah is an amazing healer for any team, in my opinion. If you're in a team and you just don't have that element healer that you need and stuff like that, basically, she doesn't really need Ascension or breakthroughs. It's just, you need it for levels eventually. But this one, she has a 1-round cooldown on a heal, which is really nice. The enhanced tile thing you won't use too much unless you're in a green team. And then she's got a 5-chain that's a heal. So if I see a chain of 5, if I'm low and I see a random chain of 5 greens that I can get through, I'll run around it and get the heal. I never really swap out a leader for any heals or anything like that. It's just every second turn you get a nice solid heal. And for me, for my team where I'm at, even though she's only at level 1, Ascension 1, she still heals for about 10% of my full HP, so it's not too bad. Moving on from that, we have Peppy. Now, I love Peppy. I think Peppy's fantastic, and she will always be relevant in the game. I've been playing a JP server account, which I'll give you guys a look at in another video, but it's using more like overpowered, like 3 converters and stuff like that. But I just miss that ability to move to where I want to start the turn, because you often get stuck in corners and stuff like that, which is really frustrating. So Peppy, I absolutely love, and I can see myself using her right into the late game. Now, with her Ascensions, the Ascension 2 isn't really necessary unless you are playing in a fire team, because all it does was change her Peppy mark to give her extra Peppy marks if you got fire units in the team. So it's more of a fire team thing. And like I said, I'm like converting my fire tiles away, but it doesn't matter because Peppy doesn't care. She's just there literally to have a movement every turn. Now, the cool thing about her is with this one here, once you unlock the equipment skill, grants up to 2 stacks of Peppy's mark, yada, yada, yada. You get one at the start of every turn. Basically what this is saying, she's got a 1 square around her where you can move, but if you don't use it one turn, the next turn, you can do 2 clusters. You can move within 2 clusters, which is huge for positioning and making stuff work. And when I'm using Seleucid in my team, who's got a 0 cooldown on his active skill, it allows me to really position well to put him somewhere where he can actually just deal damage straight away with that, or move him somewhere where he can reset red tiles and stuff like that. So it works really well. The synergies are fantastic. Now, she does have a chain skill, but really it's not even anything. It's just, she's just there for 0 round. You can start each round, you know, in a more optimal position. I think she's fantastic, even though you do lose a slot on your team for that. I value that very highly. Now, that is a really, like I said, a really cool team core, which you can mix around the other 2 units and do some really nice things. Like, for instance, if I had a Beverly, I would happily take like this team with a Beverly and then instead of Iridan and instead of Michael, like you could even use something like a Kafka. So if you pull like a Beverly and a Kafka, you can go ahead and make this team and just do the exact same thing. You do require that Uriah. Like I said, like there's a 4-star lightning healer dude that I don't have and I'd really love to use, but because I don't have him yet, I don't know if it's him or her, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, there's a 4-star lightning healer unit that also converts 1 tile with a thing, and like that's the kind of thing I'd really like to use in my team, but because I don't have it, Uriah is just so splashable in any team. Now for me, Iridan's my converter. Really good converter in my opinion. You get 2 select tiles which you can convert to prism tiles. It is a 3-round cooldown, but the cool thing about prism tiles is when you stand in them, the direction you're going in, the next 2 tiles past it also convert, and because you can place them anywhere, you can really coordinate what you're trying to do, as opposed to units that convert the nearest 4 tiles. This one, you have complete control over what you want to do with it. Also has a 2-chain, which is nice, so we can get some nice 2-chain damage, but really this is a really good active skill for converting, in my opinion. Thoroughly enjoying it. So she's nice. And then also we have Michael as my main damage dealer. Now, like I said, you could use any other like in this team. I would quite happily swap for like Beverly and Vivian, you know, something like that if you have them. But this one, she's really nice in that her active allows you to teleport wherever you want and do damage to everyone along the way, and that synergizes really well with Iridan, because Iridan can then, once you get there, you can just make a massive chain through yellows with that ability. So it's really nice. But once again, we have the 2-chain combo, which is fantastic. So I know like you don't get as much damage from them, but just being able to do that damage with a 2-chain combo, and we have 3 units with a 2-chain in there, it ain't too bad. And then we've got grants 1 stack. Listen, we're not even fussed about that. It doesn't matter. It's a bit of extra damage. Literally, it's just for the teleport, and I do like teleporting in this game. Got the teleport, and then we've also got, you know, the 2-chain. So not too bad. I don't think he's like, I mean, sorry, shit. I keep saying he because I think Michael's a dude's name, but hey, she is fantastic. But I definitely think there's like better lightning options as well. But like I said, you can swap that out for 2 fire units, 2 water units, 2 earth units if you've got it, and it's a pretty solid core. Like I said, Seleucid I just personally like. I know a lot of people won't. Peppy is hard to argue that it's a fantastic playstyle. If you haven't tried Peppy, I'd suggest just putting her in your team. Like, who cares? Have her at level 1 and just test it, because if you ever find yourself at the start of a round being like stuck and it's really frustrating, like if I was just there, I'd get that whole chain. It works really well, and she works really well in rainbow teams as well, where you're not just converting everything away, because then you can always find a good like 5 to 6 chain at minimum to be able to go ahead and do something. And then, like I said, Uriah, just a fantastic healer if you don't have an on element healer for the, you know, the main element that you're looking at building. But that is the team that I use, guys. Let me know what you're using. I've got a fun team that I'm playing. I'm planning on building on the JP account, but it's not working too well. I will show you guys that one in another video. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.